Guess what? It's me again. Hello. I'm sure you have been learning a lot. You are full of new knowledge. Thank you. We're going to continue to share insights. I'm here with Christine. And this is a great opportunity to have a conversation on the stage. We have been hearing a lot regarding the value, the return on AI, how we show that this is working, all the investments that we are doing, the so what, the how we maintain the stakeholders motivated as part of it. And together I will say that we bring a lot of experience. What do you think?
Yeah, in other words, we're old. No, I'm just kidding.
You want to introduce yourself quickly, as in what you have been doing for the last 3 decades of your life?
Gosh, yeah, it does. It does sound old. You put it like that. So yeah, nice to meet everybody. I'm with Dataiku. I'm on our business solutions team, and yeah, I've been the software space and manufacturing for a long time.
That's awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to share a lot of these insights that are coming from the field, that are coming from the industry, that are coming from you, your teams. As in, okay, how are we going to maximize this? How are we going to engineer our path to return on AI, to the value aspect of it that is always a little tricky. It's like not so easy. We heard Chris right now sharing the fact that you need to be thinking about it from the beginning, and we're going to recap on a couple of those things right now. So a little bit of background and perspective. Think about the last 2 years and what has been going on in the industry for the last 2 years. And I will say that the pivotal moment, again, ChatGPT, right? It has been a pivotal moment. It has been generating some demand that is coming from different stakeholders. I will call it a catalyst for the industry. And I know for a fact that Gen AI has been a topic of conversation at every top management meeting, board member meeting. I am a board member of a couple of startups, and I am an advisory for a couple of those boards. And it's a consistent topic and theme that we see out there. At the same time, I will say that 2023 was the year of the, ooh, what do we do with this, and what it means for us. But 2024 has been more, let's experiment, let's deploy, and let's see what it brings for us, like from the value perspective. And I will say we were hearing about McKinsey, and I'm going to bring McKinsey again, because McKinsey is actually saying that Gen AI use cases will be generating, ready? $4.4 trillion in value for each year. $4.4 trillion. That is pretty much equivalent to the GDPs from Canada and Italy combined. So this is serious potential here that we are going to be able to maximize if we move the pieces in the right direction. But the reality of it is that we are not quite there. We are still seeing a lot of friction in the field. We see that 80% or whatever the metric is there of AI projects failing, but really it's only failing as in we were not able to deploy it, or is failing because we don't know how to tie it to value. And how are we going to connect those two? It's not only the technology, it's how we connect those two. So we're going to focus today on the why. Why are enterprises failing to capture value from AI? And it's not a simple question. In fact, it's not a trivial question at all. And we have been digging into our own customer stories, the study insights from McKinsey and from the World Economic Forum, MIT surveys, and we also talk a lot with our partners, Deloitte, and the services providers like Cognizant and yada, yada, yada. And we wanted to surface what we see happening in the field. And let me know if you agree with these boxes. But the number one, let me know if this sounds familiar with you. There is still a education that needs to happen in terms of what the stakeholders expect Gen AI to do, right? A lot of the silver bullet idea, oh, this is going to solve the world, right? It doesn't matter the use case. We're just going to apply generative AI and it's solved. Let's talk about a use case, the scenario. A large retail company that decided to implement a Gen AI-powered chatbot to handle customer service inquiries. What's the misunderstanding? Well, the C-suite, executives and stakeholders believe that the chatbot will be able to, ready, fully replace the human No? We don't need any more representatives here. We're going to fully replace it. I see a lot of nodding heads. I know, it's unfamiliar, right? The second one is going to be able to respond any query. Again. Another one, interpret all the company policies. Okay. We're going to make a chatbot that is able to actually understand the customer emotions and respond with appropriate empathy to these communications. Do you see a lot of red flags? I do. I look them out in heads. Thank you for the support. Exactly. This is very unrealistic, right? So there is a lot of education that needs to happen, like, no. What are the consequences of having something like that? Well, you're going to have disappointed stakeholders that are not going to be aligned with the expectations. There is a lot of a gap between what was the expectation versus what is delivered, and therefore the stakeholder feel like, oh, this is not really delivering what we thought it was delivering. Again, education, education, education is crucial. Okay, the second one, the definition of the problem and what happens when it's too general, too vague, versus when you have it very well detailed and know exactly what are you targeting, how are you going to measure it, and what are the key metrics that you're going to get out of it to actually generate value. I'm going to give you an example. Definition, we're going to do predictive maintenance. Is that a poor problem definition? Hell yeah. Good luck measuring value out of that, right? I'm going to give you a more detailed definition. This is coming from an example. I'm going to read it because it has a lot of detail. Pay attention to this. Pay attention to all the metric opportunity that you have to connect to value, 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 value. Same problem. Predictive maintenance. We want to be 3 steps ahead and ensure that we are avoiding the downtime or whatever else is a consequence of the failure. Listen to this problem, this definition. We aim to develop an AI system that predicts failures in our top 5 most critical production line machines with 80% accuracy, at least 48 hours in advance. The system will integrate with our own current CMMS using 3 years of historical sensor and maintenance data. Success will be measured by a 30% reduction in unplanned downtime for these machines over 6 months, and we will have buy-in from our maintenance team. What about that? Way better, isn't it? Yeah, that's the one that you need to take notes on. That's the one I'm going to share on the happy hour in a few. That's exactly the situation here. The better you define that problem, the more opportunity you will have to tie it to value and to the metrics that you need to maintain these stakeholders over there. FOMO. Have you seen FOMO out there?
Yes.
All the time?
Victimized by it.
Yes, we are victimized by it. Okay. What is this FOMO about? Fear of missing out. There is no need to apply GenAI to every problem out there, all right? And not because you are not applying GenAI, you have FOMO, because everybody else is doing it. That's not a right reason to do so. And if you don't have the right problem definition, you are going to be wasting your time, right? You are going to be falling into that pocket of the 80% of AI projects are failing, right? Hallucinations are scary. Yes, once again, we don't have a silver bullet for every single AI or GenAI use case, and there are techniques to minimize that. And the human in the loop, and yada, 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 goes back to education. This is the expectation, this is what we want, this is what we expect, and so on. So important things. I'm going to start with an example, and then Christine is going to complement with other examples that we are both seeing on the field, bringing together all the expertise that we have going on in the industry. This one, I like it. I like it a lot because a completely new group of people, these executives and go-to-market team needed to actually consume all of these insights from all of these third parties. So think about reading news, reading papers, reading insights, reading information. And who is going to summarize this? And how long is going to take? And who is going to be receiving these summaries? And what is the operational efficiency that we can tie to it? Back to the value, back to the value, back to the value. So in this case, we are talking about over 100 hours per month by eliminating the need of manual summaries that we are targeting on that saving, on that operational efficiency that goes over there. And now, 3,000 employees are receiving this news, where the LLMs are doing the hard work, reading, categorizing, summarizing, serving the insights, serving the information, right? Use case that before didn't exist. Now they have all of this free time to go and innovate and be the blue line that we wanted to be from the morning. Right? What else, Christine? What else do we have out there?
Well, I'm going to your point, I'm going to put it in a context of before I joined Dataiku, we were doing a Factory of the Future deployment. It was 35 sites over 2 years with a homegrown MES, SCADA, and all the hardware, cabling, switches, everything else associated with it. So actually pretty aggressive, part of the digital transformation office. With that, I will tell you that a lot of what you talked about in terms of either inflated expectations and in terms of, by the way, we had a data scientist and we did have some data engineers. But one of the things that wouldn't work from a business standpoint, from a business lens standpoint, is to get model outputs or recommendations from a centralized data scientist who had never been out in the sites telling us what we needed to do to reduce yield, or improve yield or reduce unplanned downtime. Okay? And the reason why is because lack of transparency, exactly. Lack of trust, right? You want me or the teams, the plants to put their necks on the line, so to speak. So that's definitely something that what you were speaking to really resonates in a very real way. So it's the trust and transparency. And I don't know how many people here are on like the centralized data and analytics teams, if most of you are, or some are, say, supply chain or planners, or I suspect most of you are data and analytics. But you can have the best model in the world if, though, the manufacturing team or the supply chain team is not using it to make informed and different business decisions, none of the metrics will change, and all of your work won't be as appreciated as it should be.
Exactly.
So, and nobody wins in that scenario, by the way, because I can assure you on that Factory of the Future deployment, we had a lot of issues. Data quality.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge, and yes, we had data quality issues. We had a lot of, blind spots. So we needed insights. But there were a lot of people that have the context that understand the data, they understand the data sources, and it's really, I know they were talking earlier about democratizing, and to me that's what it means. It's not, you don't want the controls engineers, the quality engineers to be a data scientist. It's you need those people you need to leverage their institutional knowledge and let them start to add that context in a way that actually allows them to do their jobs quicker, more efficiently, to drive insights they don't have today, because there's a ton of information that AI and ML can surface up that is really needed in the manufacturing and supply chain due to the complexity therein. Yeah. And that's part of when you talk about accelerating. I mean, I'm on the business solutions team, so a lot of what we do is we create these pre-bundled templates that are designed to help business users make better decisions and actually engage them in the data and analytics process. And there's different ways to get there. But fundamentally, it's across the value chain because that knowledge exists throughout your organization. And you can't just confine advanced analytics and Gen AI, as they stated earlier, to the centralized data and analytics teams. It has to be throughout the organization for it to really have a demonstrable impact and result in reducing cost of goods sold, for example.
Yes, and I'm going to piggyback on that and highlight the fact that sometimes we have teams that come from very different backgrounds, and you have we call it a customer mentioned the other day, the purple people. What was this purple people? You have a combination between the blue brain, which is the deep technical brain, and then the red brain, which is business value oriented. What is the purple message that resonates with both as a team that together are trying to generate value? So instead of focusing only on, okay, this is the LLM, and this is the model, and this is the technical, by the way, your project is going to resonate more with the stakeholders if you talk about X value in predicting maintenance, X reduction of churn. You are talking a language that is going to resonate more with that stakeholder group.
Exactly, and that's why what they're showing right now is one of our business solutions that we developed specifically for quality engineers and like process engineers. It's statistical, diagnostic analytics. Yep. The value of it is, one, they may have assortment, many different types of fit-for-purpose solutions, but a lot of those are desktop-based. So if you're on a data and analytics team, you're not going to have access to it. But two, a lot of those are limited, right? Because they're desktop-based.
Exactly.
And there is no shareability, and there's no collaboration even between the different SMEs.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing, to help get those people, one, empower them to do their jobs more effectively, which is why they'd want to use a tool like this in Dataiku. But then the added benefit, of course, the benefit for a lot of you guys in the room is that the result of that is some data sets with that institutional knowledge, with that context already embedded into the data. So then you start to understand how I should model, what are the targets, feature engineering, data engineering. Every data science problem is a data engineering problem. And that's where a lot of the focus for our solutions, and that's the way to accelerate value.
Exactly. Details matter. Details, when you are defining the problem, matter. That's going to be your path to prove that you are actually generating value. So, to recap, because we are 1 minute over, so I'm going to promise we are getting closer and closer to the happy hour. So let's cross this thing. So companies need a holistic approach. I think this is the most important conclusion here, okay? A holistic approach. This is the technology alone won't create value. That is just one variable. This is a multivariable problem, all right? So you need to think holistically. You need to properly empower your people where they are augmented and supported by technology, but with a well-defined framework that will support not only the delivery of the process in a methodic, scalable way, but also with a well-defined problem that is going to help you connect that to value, where you can maximize your organizational success in AI. And as I said, a multivariable problem, holistically, think about these 3 boxes. Holistically. First box, you have to have a governance strategy. You have to be 1 step ahead in terms of the regulations, how you're going to be ready for everything that is coming with the Act and the EU Act. Think about who is going to be asking about transparency and bias mitigation and how traceable your outcomes are in terms of AI. Also, from the beginning, people, augmented people, that means that you will have to do the learning and development. I love what you are doing, by the way. Keep doing that. Learning, development, teach what is this, what are we capable of doing, but at the same time, therefore, I'm generating value. And here is the proof, right? Here's where we are connecting these dots. And then you're going to have to deliver that process in a scalable way. So it's not only thinking about prediction, in production, MLOps, yeah, okay. But what about LLM ops? What about generative AI at scale? What about how are we keeping the human in the loop? How are we connecting all of these dots in the most holistic way? And then you have the embedded way to deliver the solution that is so natural and organic that people don't think that they are using AI. It's pretty much embedded in the culture. Are you using WhatsApp today? You saw what Meta did with WhatsApp and how embedded the Llama 3 chat over there. It's super natural. I am doing it. Everybody's doing it. Super organic. Why? Because it's part of the culture. It was embedded in the flow. All right? So think about it holistically. It's a multivariable problem. And we are pretty much ready to close, unless you have anything else to add there. Good?
You can't predict what you don't understand.
Exactly.